Hello, Professor. First of all, I would like to introduce you to our team, which is conformed by Maximiliano Vargas, Jimena Uribe, and myself, Daniela Hidalgo. In this video, we're going to present our topic, which is a research paper called Layers of Inequality, Social Mobility, Inequality of Opportunity, and Skin Color in Mexico. This paper was written by Luis Gomez Franco, Roberto Vélez Grajales, and also Gaston Jalonetsky. In this paper, the author's objectives relies on demonstrating the relationship and exploring the relationship between skin color and social mobility in Mexico. In other words, they try to identify what it is precisely the role of skin color in our country and how it affects or involves with inequality of opportunity in wealth.
Using a nationally representative survey on intergenerational social mobility for Mexico was one way they did the research for this. They also used a transition matrix and rank regression to find different patterns of relatively social mobility by skin color, and by estimating the inequality of opportunity as a share of total wealth inequality. They had two approaches for the methodology they used. The first approach was an analysis of social mobility to construct the transition matrix for the whole population. The transition matrix captures the degree of fluidity in society as a whole, and it shows the behavior of both upward and downward social mobility at each quantile of the distribution. This enables us to compare the mobility of different groups in the same distribution and identify whether there are any difference in mobility patterns. The second approach they used was they analyzed relative social mobility in a society to estimate the rank-on-rank regression coefficient, which captures the average degree of dependence between the position occupied by the household of origin and the corresponding wealth distribution, and the position occupied by the respondent in the wealth distribution of the respondent's household. This approach was suggested by Cherry as a way to summarize the information provided by the transition matrices, as well as to gain insight into the absolute mobility of subnational social groups. Other authors that have written about this topic is Raimundo Campos Vázquez and Eduardo Medina Cortina, and what their title was Skin Color and Social Mobility, Evidence from Mexico.
You might be wondering, what does this paper contribute? The main contribution of the paper is the fact that it acknowledges the racial discrimination in Mexico and the fact that this causes inequality. So it kind of opens your eyes and you're like, okay, so this isn't just something that you might speculate or say, okay, this might happen, it's a fact. All the studies that they did, they all showcased that you have a better chance of succeeding here in Mexico if you have a lighter skin tone than if you have a darker skin tone. The main conclusions and findings of the paper are the following. In the United States, the racial problem is very evident and everyone knows it, the struggle and the fight between black people and white people, and you might think, okay, here in Mexico it's not as big. It definitely doesn't affect us the way it does them. When in reality, this paper shows us that there is a lot of inequality when it comes to skin tone and opportunities. Because if you're light skinned, you are more likely to climb up the wealth ladder way more easy. It won't cost you as much trouble, and you can just go from here to higher. And if you have a darker skin tone, it's harder for you to climb, and it's easier for you to lose that wealth just like very easily. And with a light skin tone, you can gain the wealth very easily, but it's harder for you to lose it. So you can see the inequality that exists there. But this paper shows us that even though this is a big issue, that there is inequality, the biggest contributing factor is the status of your family, because this will determine a great deal of things for your future. This determines if you live in a nice and fancy neighborhood or in a really bad neighborhood. This determines if you receive great education or just a mediocre one. This will also contribute to the factor of how much education you're going to receive, because if your family is wealthy, it is more likely that you will receive a degree. Because let's face it, universities aren't cheap. And maybe the student who doesn't come from a wealthy family but is also a good student, he might not get all the way up to university because he had to drop out for one reason or another. Most likely that their parents couldn't afford it. So we can see that this factor is even bigger than the racial problem that we face. So if we were to put this on a balance, and this was the skin of your tone, the tone of your skin, sorry, and this was the wealth that your family has, the scale would go like this, because this contributes a lot more. And that is the point that the paper tries to show us. That is the main conclusion, is if you want to make an impact on the inequality in Mexico, it'd be good if you could make the light skin and the dark skin problem less significant. But the only way you can make a big difference is with the economic status of your family. If you could even it out, or if you could give them the same opportunities when it comes to education and all these sorts of important things, you would really make a big difference. As for the policy implications, we're always led to believe that everything is transparent, that everything should be fair and just when it comes to getting a job, for example, or when fighting for a job or for applying for a university. And what this paper tells us is, okay, it's not like that. It doesn't actually work like that. You're more likely to get a call to get a job if you have a lighter skin tone than if you have a dark one. So the policy implications are that even though it's the right thing to do, or the correct thing is to give both of them the same opportunity, we're biased maybe, and people tend to favor light skin color.
We got a conclusion as a team, and it is basically that there's nothing that can be added or implemented in this research paper to improve it, because it is already so easy to understand and so easy for us as students to digest, because of all the data, information, statistics, facts, sources, and graphs that were implemented in it, that it was so easy basically. However, we do believe that if there's something that can be improved and done, is to change our mindset as a Mexican society, because it's hard and raw to believe that by this time, I mean it's 21st century, by this time we shouldn't be even thinking of the differences in light skin and dark skin and all of these social problems. Those shouldn't be a problem anymore. I mean, as a society, we should be together and we should change the mindset that if you're light skin color, then you have more opportunity, because those are facts. The paper shows it, and not only the paper, I mean, in your everyday life, you can see how a light skin colored person is better treated than a dark skin colored person. So there must be a change, and we should be focusing on changing this kind of racist behaviors.